Welcome back. You're watching Political Capital. This week saw a glittering night in African political history, full of precedents and pride. Andrew Mlangeni, one of the two survivors of the trial that saw him and his comrades, including Nelson Mandela, face the death penalty. Well, he celebrated his 93rd birthday this week at a restaurant in Johannesburg alongside a president and a former president. He told them the secret to long life, and believe me, it's one worth waiting for.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mama. Happy birthday to you.
A restaurant full of noise for the man they call the Quiet Revolutionary. This is Andrew Mlangeni, who spent most of his 93 years on earth fighting for the freedom of his fellow man. A difficult path that saw him tortured and incarcerated. A man of humility who lives in the same house in Soweto where he was arrested more than half a century ago. A sitting MP who commands respect.
That should remind us that blood was spilt physically to ensure that we're here. Resilience is a character trait that we should all have.
He's one of the great fighters against the apartheid system in South Africa.
The venue for this birthday celebration showed how far the life of Mlangeni has come. This restaurant near Rivonia in Johannesburg is just around the corner from the farm where Mlangeni flitted through the shadows as an undercover fighter fresh from military training in China. Just down the road is Liliesleaf Farm, where Mandela pretended to be a domestic worker as he was undercover. It was this location that gave its name to the Rivonia trial, where Mlangeni escaped the noose only to spend 26 years in prison on Robben Island. He's one of only two survivors of that trial. Dennis Goldberg, who lives in Cape Town, is the other. The head of state, Cyril Ramaphosa, was there to pay tribute with his trademark dry wit.
When I heard that Comrade Mlangeni was going to have this birthday celebration, I tried to feign, being busy, and I said to Gqinwa, "Oh, Gqinwa, I'm going to be so busy. It's after cabinet meeting, and there's something." She said, "No, Baba, I checked. Your evening is clear." I said, you don't know, I will be busy. And then quietly and secretly she gave my phone number to Comrade Andrew Mlangeni. And he called. I didn't even know that he could use a cell phone. He called a few times, and finally I returned his call. And when I did, I said, "No, I'm coming to your birthday." He said, "Oh," he was taken aback.
Also, there was Cabinet Minister Naledi Pandor and former President Kgalema Motlanthe.
Milestones focus people's minds for celebrating a life. So he's 93 years now. When he turns 100, I'm dead certain that the whole country will celebrate that.
It's a story that must be repeated all the time because individuals such as him are becoming more and more rare, and what we need to do is communicate the sacrifice, the life that was lived in service to humanity.
It may have been the great and the good here, but most of those surrounding Mlangeni were his close family. All awaited keenly the man himself on stage.
"You say you're 93? I said, "No, they say I'm 93. What is the recipe for this?" Don't feel offended, because I'm going to say what I want to say, what I like to say. I say, when I got married to my wife, we agreed on one thing, by the way, at that early age, that we will not have sex every night. We agreed on that 3 times a week, he said, was sufficient. And we strictly kept to that, by the way, that practice. Only occasionally would go beyond 3. Occasionally.
His late wife, June Joanna, would have smiled at the joke. Despite being forced apart by more than a quarter of a century of imprisonment, the two were very close, as he told a documentary on CNBC Africa nearly a decade ago.
She was herself a member of the ANC, a very strong woman. I'm proud of her. There she is. She is still young there. She kept the house, the fires burning in this house for almost 27 years.
The final word from the man himself. Any regrets?
I'll do it any time, again for the second time, third and the fourth time.
Once ANC, always ANC.
Once ANC, always ANC.
Andrew Mlangeni, humble fighter for freedom. Political Capital pays tribute to his life and work. Chris Bishop, CNBC Africa, Johannesburg.
Thank you very much for your time, for being with us on this episode of Political Capital. We're back on your screens next Tuesday at 6:30 only on CNBC Africa. Until then, good evening.